Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, September 12th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a few more things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Link is sent out. All right, perfect. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. There. That's 4 hour. Down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30 minute. Down to the 15 minute. Down to the 10 minute. And right back down to the 1 minute here. All right, so as you guys can see, there's a huge spike right here based off the PPI news this morning. Marked up liquidity right there. So you got all levels of liquidity marked up currently. I'm gonna go here and mark up structure real quick for the SRs. So we'll try to use these zones to identify, how price trades from zone to zone. And it's been pretty useful, so just kind of use it as a rule of thumb. See if there's any more upper structure here. All right. Looks like we are good for the most part. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 12th, 6:28 right now. Market's going to open in about a minute or so. So we got liquidity over here. First level of liquidity above is at 40,977. The lower levels right here just got hit, 40,928. For the opening breakout for the day, aiming for this to be possibly bullish. So when the market opens up in about a minute, expecting this to climb up. We'll see what happens here. So I'm expecting this to climb right back up to this point here to the Asia high. So market's gonna open up in about 40 seconds. Still got a lot of time here. Yeah, the breakout I'm looking for is for a buy today. For the 100-point move. All right, we got market opening up in about 20 seconds. I'll mark up the clean chart a little later. You guys can see over here from the SR screen. It's looking pretty solid, like it's going to bounce back up. So we got market opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. Yeah, price coming down right now currently. It'll probably maybe bounce off the structure here and swing back up higher. Possibly. Not for sure, but possibly. So we got the breakout over here that's currently set up. So price might come down and bounce off the Asia low right here, it looks like. And make its way back up. Come back and take a look at that later. Looking at this here so far, we currently have, so we had a sell signal here, price broke below, bounced off the pivot right there. So there's a market flow that happened over here pre-market. I'm not going to take that one. I'll just look for the next momentum here to come up. As you guys can see here, the liquidity, first level of liquidity right here got hit at 929. And then again, right here, the lower level got hit as well at 922. So these two levels are pretty much done with for liquidity. This lower level down here got touched. Didn't necessarily continue dropping from there, but it did get touched right there, and it's currently pushing back up. So looks like price is now correcting back to the upside. Like I said earlier, my breakout here was for a buy, so we're just going to let that play through. Make some adjustments here with this. 17. Adjustments down here. 17, of course. All right, so the breakout's pushing a full TP right there. It's almost at its TP. It's right at the sessions above. Let's see. Looks like it already hit TP right there. So full TP on the breakout, guys. Played out perfect, just exactly how I expected. If you guys took it, nice work. Breakout's moving pretty smooth for this week. So a little fake out initially on the open, and then it shot all the way back up. Let's see. Looks like it already hit. All right, perfect. So on the breakout right there, I locked in. I locked in slightly less. I had to close out early because my entry wasn't the greatest. I closed out at 1,371 in profit. So there goes the entry right there. Played out perfect, Jason. Analysis played out perfect. So right there, Jason said he's done. Perfect. That's all you need. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Jason's sweet. Get it both ways, definitely. Morning, Glenn. Morning, Brock. Morning, everybody. All right, yeah, so there goes the breakout right there, guys. Full TP on that. I guess I'll take a screenshot of this real quick. 100-point breakout. So same analysis from yesterday. My fundamentals pointing towards the upside. Also, we had this right here, the PPI news that pushed up. So I was looking for that correction back to the upside. We got a little bit of a fake out to the downside, and then it swung all the way back up. So there goes the breakout for 100 points, full TP on that. I'll post it over here in the profits again, per usual. Let me go over here real quick. Take a screenshot of The only problem with this here is the eval stage of top step. I mean, eval stage in general, it's just going to take forever for me to get past it, but the good thing is that we're having consistent wins here. So there goes the entry right there for the breakout. Here are my profits. I lock in 1,371. It's supposed to be 1,500, but I just ended up closing it a little early here. I didn't wait for it to push. Well, it did push to the top, but my entry here wasn't as great because it was kind of spiking initially before open, and that's it's kind of where we're at. So right there goes the profits from that. Now we'll look for some scalps. So the breakout for 100 points is pretty much done right here. We'll now look for some market flow entries. Looking over here at the SR zone. So I drew these SR zones before market open. You guys can see how price is respecting them perfectly. It's pretty much doing exactly what we kind of anticipated for this here. So there's a possible entry over here as well for the session to session move. It's not there yet, but I mean, technically it's for a sell right now. So there's a sell right here off this high. So price pushed above, came back down, filled right here for the high move. So there's one that's currently running right now. I mean, personally, I wouldn't necessarily take this one because I think price is going to be bullish today, eventually long term. So I'd probably wait for price to come below this point here and then come back up. So I wouldn't really take the sell here. Like I said, I think I'll use the breakout entry over here. So the breakout for 100 points, we're going to use this as a confluence for the day. So this is kind of where I'm expecting price to go. If I'm looking for a buy for the breakout for 100 points, then my bias for the day is probably going to be bullish long term. So I'm still going to take sells if I see some scalps there, but my bias and my ideal direction would be bullish. So what I would look for here personally is I'd look for price to come down below the sessions, and then look for it to swing back up from here because this is the Asia low. So I'd be expecting it to push it back to the Asia high over here. Right. So, I mean, not that this isn't going to play out, but, you know, like I said earlier, I think this is probably going to be the best case scenario. So I'll come back and take a look at that later. But, you know, for the sessions here, I'm going to leave this as is because this is kind of what I'm looking for. Looking for the buy here. So looking for that lower pull to the bottom side and then bounce off the Asia low. Come right back up. Just like our breakout entry played out earlier today. Again, you can see over here, price is respecting the zones here. So I'm expecting this to probably push up to this next level right here. So I'll be looking for some possible buys here. I'm expecting this here to push up at least to this next zone. Right there. Here's our clean chart. It looks like price is kind of just ranging right now. Draw something right there. And I'll draw something down here. All right, so there's the current range right now. Price is just going back and forth between this area. There's no market flow entries available here at the moment. Price is currently at the red flag. You can see the liquidity here got hit when price spiked up earlier. So right here at that 631 candle, price spiked up, blasted right through the liquidity. If you guys took that liquidity, obviously, you know, another full TP right there for you guys. Glenn's asking what's the TP stop loss for market flow. TP stop loss right now is currently 60-30, but I have my trailing stop set to 30. So I guarantee, so basically my TP stop loss is guaranteed to 1-1, but then I have the ability to reach 1-2. So 60-30, but my stop loss gets moved in profit at 30. All right, so if you guys are just joining, we had one entry come up today, which was the breakout here on open for 100 points. It already hit full TP, so if you guys are just getting here, unfortunately, you guys missed it. But think the majority of people here did catch it, so it played out perfect right there. That was the only entry that we took right there. I've posted it in the group. So we had this right here. This is the entry, and then my profit right there for 1,371. Got some team profits here. So Jonathan took that trade as well. I'll let it load up and come back to that shortly. There's no market flow entries here. I mean, technically, it looks like a market flow entry just came up right now. See if I can maybe get into this late. So I'll put my pending order right there just in case it comes back down.
Order submitted.
This candle has about 20 seconds left on it, so it's got some time. All right, so I think I'm in the position now.
Order submitted.
All right, so this is against the long-term bias, but it goes with the short-term bias, so it's fine. See where it's currently going. Why did my thing look so tight? Oh, because I adjusted it. Okay, I forgot. All right, so unfortunately, stop loss got hit on that one. Like I said earlier, I'm looking for personally, I'm looking for a buy here, but this still fit the criteria. The only problem here is that price isn't really moving directional. For this, I lowered my contract size. I'm at 4 contracts, so I lost about 600 on that trade. Not a big loss, but I'll be looking for the next one here. So, like I said earlier, guys, I'm looking for a buy. Like personally, I'd rather have a buy here, but I'm not going to shy away from any sells because I think price is going to be bullish long term, like throughout the session. But if I see any sells here, I'm going to take it. We had a sell signal come up, price rejected off the pivot right here, came back down, filled the order, and then you can see here it's coming right back down. I don't know if the stop loss is still too tight at 30. I don't know if I'll have to go to 60-60, but as of now, I'm just going to keep it at 60 at 30-60. And if we have to make some adjustments, that's fine. So one small loss right there for 60 points, or no, 30 points. And I'll be looking for the next opportunity. It's just price right here is currently consolidating, so it's not really moving directional. And that's kind of where we got caught. Here's Jonathan here. He locked in 475. Nice work, Jonathan. Put this over here in the stats for the day. So the market flow right there, it looks like it just triggered the stop loss, and then it's kind of just sitting in between that middle area right there. So we're getting a lot of back and forth movement right now. Here's the clean chart. You guys can kind of see price is just consolidating around that area. And of course, price is now coming back down. So it's all good. Ate that loss there, move on to the next one. It's a drop of 30 points. The good thing is that we're doing a 1 to 2. So if I make a win on the next trade, it's probably going to basically clear out the profit, bring it back into profit because our TP is double our stop loss. So I'll look for the next entry here. But as of now, that was the first entry. It was basically a half loss because it was half stop loss of the profit. And you can see here price is coming back down. We just got caught in this manipulation to the upside. And then obviously right here, it's coming right back down to where it should be going. I was hoping we don't get it. I was hoping the manipulation would be done with, but obviously manipulation is pretty clear. And yeah, if you guys got in late, it looks like you would have maybe survived this move, but price just spiked to our stop loss real quick and came right back down. So this is our TP stop loss. We're using a 30 stop loss, 60 TP. Basically, if we have one win, it's going to count as 2 because it's going to recoup the loss and then come right back up. It's all good. I mean, I figured the market was going to move kind of crazy today like this because of the news from this morning. The PPI news that pretty much spiked price all over the place. So let's move on to the next one here. Clean that up. All right, so we're currently still in net positive profit for the day. Again, we had the 100-point move here. We had the 30-point loss. It's barely a partial loss right here, 30-point loss. And then we'll see what happens here on the next one. So this momentum signal has already been used. We'll now look for the next opportunity here. This price continues to climb around. Let me see where this 30 was. That's what I meant criteria. I just want to double check that I wasn't cutting into the sessions right there. I changed it to 30 just to make sure that we would have moved our stop loss and profit before it got to that point, and we would have, but just wanted to confirm that. So price is currently at the low right now. Like I was saying earlier, with the sessions move, if this here swings up, it's probably going to swing all the way back up higher. So I'll mark this right here as the Asia low. All right, so if this here pushes back up, and we'll use this as a confluence, so like later if we get a market flow to the upside from here, we'll have this whole threshold right here to look for. But here's a session to session move. So basically from here, I'm looking for price to push from this session to the upper session right there, from the Asia low to the Asia high. If it does push up higher, there's another threshold here to kind of push up further, and the stop loss will get moved in profit right here at the 100 points. So I'll use this as a confluence. I'm not going to take this as a standalone entry, but I'll use this as confluence. And I'm also going to test the strategy as we continue to follow it. The problem with this here is I can't take this on my Apex accounts because when it gets caught in the Apex, or if I get stuck in this account, in this trade with my Apex accounts, then I can't take any scalps because I can't double up into positions. If I do double up into position, it might classify it as a DCA move. See, Daniel's asking if anyone has gotten paid out from Apex recently. So I got paid out for other stuff, not for my trading payouts, but I got paid out for my affiliate stuff. I just got my payout the first week of September. So I got a payout from that. That was different though. That wasn't part of the that wasn't a trading payout. I wasn't able to request one this month because the last month was pretty much kind of break even. So I did see someone get an issue though, something with their plane account. I'm not sure what that is. I never got that error before, but I did see one person in another group that I'm in that got he got a little bit of an issue. I don't know what the plane account thing is though, so I'm not sure if that's what you're getting, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel said, okay, just checking, just wanted to hear some people getting paid something. Yeah, so I've been paid. I got paid for my affiliate stuff. Like that stuff just comes in like every month. So I did get paid for that. I just didn't get any trading payouts. I think it's the same process though. It's the same payout type system. So yeah, not sure. But I did hear somebody else talk about, they took a screenshot of it for their, let me see if I can get it and I can show it to you guys. I'm not going to promote the other group though. There's no entries right now, guys, so don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything right now. Yeah, actually, I don't know where they put that. If I see the screenshot, I will I'll send it to you guys, or I'll show you guys. Wait, it might be over here. No, it's not. But yeah, so I saw someone in one of my groups, they posted that they couldn't pay him out because he didn't provide his plane information. I don't know what the plane information is because I didn't have to do that stuff when I first got funded. Yeah, that's the only thing that I've seen. Oscar said, seen Apex been having people record their trades now. Yeah, so that's been an issue for a while now, Oscar. I mean, they only ask that for people who are suspicious. Like if they're making some like random profits, like for example, if someone's making like no profits or they're making very little profit, and then all of a sudden they're making like huge profit, right? Or if they're just not, because they have all your data. I mean, if you have like like a shitload account, like if you have a bunch of accounts and then you're like not profitable at all, and then all of a sudden you're just super profitable, they will ask you to record your trades because they want to see that it's actually you trading, not someone else, or you don't have some bot doing it, or if you're doing something weird, they're going to ask you to do that because they have all your data. They've seen how many accounts you bought, they've seen how many they've seen I mean, they see everything that you go through with the accounts. Like they know how many accounts you've blown. They've seen your consistency. They have your pattern. They usually ask that stuff you're if your trading is like not inconsistent, if it's inconsistent, or if you're all of a sudden making a ton of profit all of a sudden for no reason, or if you're doing something that's like not within the guidelines. But I haven't heard them ask anybody. Well, they've never asked me, most likely because they know that I'm already recording. Like they can just watch my live streams. But I just haven't had them ask anybody else that. At least not someone that I know personally. Let's see. There's no entries right now, guys. So again, don't worry about anything. There's nothing here yet. Again, I'm looking for a buy signal. So I need a buy signal for price to push up and then look for a sell signal for it to come back down. Or if I get a buy signal and price climbs up higher, that's where I'm going to ride this up from. See, HP is asking, is it better to place trades on TradingView or Ninja? For me personally, I trade on Ninja because I use the copier. So I mean, it's just up to your preference. I don't think it makes a huge difference. The only difference is really the copier feature. Or if you want to use the trailing stop feature, then obviously you want to use Ninja because there's more options there. Otherwise, I think there might be a little delay if you trade on TradingView because you're kind of trading like in between. There's an intermediary in between you guys. Like you're executing a trade on here, but it's actually executing on TradeAvate. If you're trading on Ninja Trader, you're trading directly on execution. So there might be a slight delay with your entry, maybe like by a second or a split second. The only other thing I can think of is really the copier function and trailing stop function. And that's pretty much all the stuff I use. So I have to trade on NinjaTrader. Oh, thanks, Drew. Yeah, Drew said Plane is a type of wallet that you can get paid to and withdrawn from. Okay, so if that's the case, Drew, then I think that's like an individual issue with that one person that they had trouble getting. They probably didn't provide their information for Plane, or they didn't provide any verification and stuff like that. Otherwise, I haven't seen anybody else having an issue with payouts. We'll see by the 15th though, because this is going to be the next official payout period. So if you guys are not familiar with the payout period, typically you'll request your payout the first week of September, and then it'll come out on the 15th, and then you request again on the 15th, and it comes out at the end of the month. But everyone that I've seen has gotten paid out. Everybody that I know personally. I haven't seen anybody complain to me. So if someone's complained to me, I'll let you guys know, but haven't gotten anything like that yet. All right, so we're kind of just watching price. It looks like price here is, I mean, it's trying to move directional, but I mean, realistically, it's kind of just ranging. It's ranging and then it's pushing down to the next range down below. Got another range right here. So it looks like price will range for a little bit, push down, and then continue back into a sideways range. But there's no market flow entries here yet, at least not at this moment. Again, we would need a buy signal and then a sell signal, or a buy signal and a continuation to the upside. me check the news calendar real quick. So we did have news this morning, 5:30, of course, and we have gas stock change at 7:30. So let's mark up the news over here real quick. Obviously, you guys can see it's a huge candle. And then we have gas stock change at 7:30, which is low impact. Right there. Volatility here is kind of low at the moment. ATR is currently at 40. I'm kind of curious to see what the ATR was earlier when we took this trade. So the ATR was actually a little high. I might have to base our TP stop loss off the ATR because our stop loss was 30. And you guys can see this is the entry that we took earlier. If our stop loss was a little bit higher, just a little bit higher, we probably would have been able to survive the spike to the upside. This is the tough part about like making the adjustments because yeah, like looking at this right here, the ATR is currently at 50 or at 48. So it'd be like a 50. Yeah, because that would have played out perfect right there. Okay, so I might have to make some presets for my TP stop loss because the thing is the market is just not very consistent. You can see over here it went from like 50 ATR down to like 40 ATR, and then now it's back down to 37. Might be going back up to 40. I'm gonna have to set some presets TP stop losses so I can make some adjustments whenever necessary. So I'll probably do it in sets of 10s. So instead of 30, we'll have 40 there. Just contract by one. It shouldn't be that difficult. And then if we want to do 50, yeah, contracts. So I'll just change the presets a little bit. Like for example, right now the ATR is currently 38. I would probably have to use instead of a 30-60, I'd probably have to use. So typically we'd use like a 30-60, something like that. Because the ATR is a little higher, but the ATR is changing so often here. You can see the ATR, it jumps quite a bit. So from here, we'd probably adjust this from, or if it was at 40, we'd be like 40-80 instead. Just a slight little movement there to be able to withstand whatever, random drawdown happens. And I think the way I'll do it is I'll just round up. So if I get above 35, I'll round up to 40. If I get to like 45, we'll round up to 50. If we get to like 25, we'll round up to 30. So, all right. I'll just have to keep that in mind, guys. This was like one of the biggest changes we made this week was just the TP stop loss. It's because of the inconsistency of price volatility. Sometimes volatility will be like just super low. Like right now, it's super low. And this thing could drop back down. But if it picks back up, you have to adapt with the market because it's really the difference between, blowing the trade or making the trade. Right now, the volatility here is starting to die down again, so I think the 60-30 might be okay. But I'll see if I need to make some adjustments along the way, if necessary. Hopefully, we don't have to, and the price just stays consistent. But if it does start to move a little crazy, I'll make some adjustments based off the ATR down here. I've also changed my ATR, so if you guys are not familiar with that, I changed my ATR. It's typically at 14, which is fine. 14 is okay. And you can see I changed it to 14. It doesn't change very much. But I think the 7, changing this to 7 here, the 7 period, it gives you a better understanding of like where price is actually moving because it just gives you the ATR of the previous 7 candles versus the previous 14 candles. So just one thing that I changed there for you guys to understand. I mean, realistically, it's not going to be a big change that needs to happen for my TP stop loss because right now I'm currently using a 4 contract. So for my stop loss of 30 points, I'm risking 600. If I go up to 40, it's going to go up quite a bit. So I just dropped that to 3 contracts. So it's going to be a quick little, change. And I can kind of tell where it's going to be at by the time it gets to that point. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to set up another template. With the new TP stop loss for 3 contracts. And then I'll just make the adjustments when necessary. All right, so it shouldn't be too hard. It's just gonna be a quick change of my ATM if I need to. I got so many different ATMs now. I gotta like make sure these are good. Okay. All right, so I got my ATMs kind of changed up there. I'll just look at the ATR. When I have an entry that looks like it's going to come up, I'll look down at the ATR. If it's below 35, I'll use a 30. If it's above 35, I'll use a 40. I just wish the market would stay consistent. It's not very consistent here. Going back to our clean chart, so you can see over here, price is really just consolidating. The type of pattern that's currently moving the market right now is that it'll consolidate range, break out to the next zone. They do the same thing, just consolidate range. Right here, it's breaking out below. It's probably going to consolidate range again somewhere below this area, or it might just fake out around this area and pull back up. I'm still looking for entry here for another market flow. I'm hoping I can get another market flow and get the full 60 points because if I can do that, I'll basically recoup my profit and then make double profit on top of that. So it's kind of what I'm aiming for. Hey, Sam. Yeah, no, definitely. Sam said, hey, Sean, thanks for today. Yeah, hopefully you locked in those profits off that breakout. That breakout was pretty solid. So again, if you guys are just joining, we took 2 trades for the day. So we took 1 trade over here, which was for the breakout for 100 points. We locked in a 100-point profit right there. So total profit in cash at 1,371. And then we took a small loss over here for 30 points. So we're still a net positive for the day. It's just I'm looking for another trade here to basically recoup that loss and make double profit on that. We got more profits over here from Rashida. So let's see, Rashida here locked in. Let's see. Rashida here locked in. Nice, Rashida. So her first account, she locked in 750, second account, 775, and her third account, 1,950 for the day. Nice work, Rashida. Yeah, solid profits right there. Let's put that in there so it's viewable. All right, there's no entries here yet. Again, we're still just waiting for. So the good thing is that we're in a directional market now. So the thing here is that we're in a directional market. If we're in a directional market, the session strategy is not going to work very well because this works well in a sideways market. So the strategy that I showed you guys before, it actually never filled. So price never came back up to fill the order. It's still waiting there. So I'll come back and take a look if it does fill. But it doesn't look like we're in a ranging market for this week. So if we're not in a ranging market, this is a time to take directional strategies. So if you guys are looking for strategies to take, take basically anything that we normally take. So take market flow entries. Unfortunately, market flow entry here did play through, but our stop loss was just too tight again. The other entries you guys can look for are high-low scalps, momentum scalps, pivot scalps, V1 variations to the downside. This here was a CD pattern to the downside, if you guys saw it here. There's a high here at the green candle, smaller red candle. You could have taken this here for a CB entry. And if you guys want to use the same TP stop loss, 60 TP, 30 stop loss, you can still use it for other assets. Oh no, not other assets, but other strategies. I think the 1 to 2 works well during obviously a directional market like this. But in order for me to have an entry, I need to have a buy signal come up, have a sell signal come up next, and come back down further. But obviously we just don't have that here yet. So I'm really just waiting for a buy signal here to come up. We're cutting into 7 o'clock. So right now it's 7:03. You guys can see the volatility here is starting to get a lot slower. The ATR is currently now at 28. So it's definitely slowing down quite a bit. It was at 40 earlier, dropped down to 35. Now it's at 28. Nikki's asking, are you planning a mentoring session today? Yes, guys. So sorry, I didn't give you guys a heads up yet. So we're doing a mentoring session today. We'll get back to our normal schedule. So I'll get back to our 2 o'clock mentoring session, 2 o'clock Pacific time. If you guys can't make that, just let me know. I can push it back a little bit further if you like. But 2 o'clock is the usual time that we have our mentoring session. So I'll put that over here in the chat actually. I'll put this over here. Yeah, we haven't had a mentoring session in a while. I was just going to copy my same post for my mentoring session. I usually just post here. Hey, when's the last time we had a mentoring session? I put it over here. I was just copying the reminder. Okay, so our last mentoring session was on June 28th. It's pretty far back. All right, there we go. So yeah, later today at 2 o'clock, mentoring session. If you guys have any questions or if you guys need help with anything, really just show up to the mentoring session. I can answer whatever questions you guys have. That mentoring session is pretty much open, guys. So you guys can ask anything. Like you can ask about TradingView, NinjaTrader, Apex, any of the strategies. The session is pretty much open to all questions. So if you guys have any trading questions, feel free to hop in. I'm gonna try to do them once a week like we used to. But like I said before, guys, I like mentoring. I like mentoring people who actually want to learn, right? I don't really like teaching people who are just there for like one session or whatever. I'm there to mentor people who actually want to learn and get better. So I'm gonna get back into teaching at some point, just not right now. I'm gonna start to get back into mentoring, and I think what I'm gonna do too is I might even throw in a Sunday session for forex traders if you guys still trade forex, because I mentioned before here, the zone to zone strategy works very well. So I marked up these zones from yesterday for AUD CAD. I'm pretty much going to go down my watch list. So if you guys remembered, I had a huge watch list over here of like 40 pairs, and I'm going to go down and just mark up all of the zones here for all of these pairs so that you guys can use them if you want to trade directional, if you want to trade the zone to zone strategy. Yeah, because you can see over here, it works out perfectly fine. I mean, if you know how to use these zone to zone strategies, like for example, price broken close above here, and you pretty much just ride that to the next zone. So I'm just trying to make things accessible to everyone, right? Because I know not everybody here can get on these live sessions in the morning. Some people still have regular jobs. So I'm going to make things accessible, because if you can't trade the Dow during the day, you can always trade Forex at night. This is how I started trading. I started trading Forex at night on the 4-hour time frame. And this is the same exact strategy that I used to call signals for, way back. I might even go back to calling signals at some point, specifically for Forex, because it's just a lot easier. The only problem is that I have to be on the computer like every 4 hours, which was kind of annoying, but it's not exactly impossible. So yeah, I mean, I still know how to trade Forex, guys. Like I probably know how to trade Forex. Well, on the higher time frames, I can trade Forex. This is what I like about Forex, is that we can trade here on the higher time frames, and it just makes all the difference versus trading the Dow here, because the Dow kind of sucks. What I might be doing is during the summer season, I might go back to trading Forex, because you guys can see here the strategies work perfectly fine. There's actually an entry right here still running for GBP USD. So there's an entry right here that's currently running for GU. The thing with these entries though is that they last like pretty much all week. So for example, right here, this candle broke and closed below the structure, basically riding into the next structure right here. Target price point is going to be down here. So just looking at the market and just understanding the market, I can still trade the Dow, but the thing is I'm not making as much profit as I normally do on the Dow during the summer. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll still trade the Dow and trade in the morning, but I'll also trade Forex at night. and just let these trades kind of run. They're kind of like set and forget type strategies. You just let the trade run and then you let it go to its TP. So I will probably at some point kind of just cross over the two. Because I mean, I'm still good at trading Forex, and if it doesn't, which it shouldn't. So the thing is, it shouldn't have any issues with my Dow trading or my YM trading, because we trade YM between 6:30 and 8, and then every 4 hours for Forex is basically it's 2, 6, 10, 2, 4, 6, yeah. So basically every 2, 4, 6, or 2, 2, 4, 10 is, or 2, 6, 10 is like the times that I'd have to look at the Forex chart. Basically 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock every single day, which is not that bad. Let's see, Sam, so if you're bored at night, then we can do a 30-minute session at night. Just a thought. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that before, Sam. Sometimes I would just get on like randomly. That was like back when I was mentoring a lot though. So I was mentoring a lot back then. I haven't mentored lately because I've just been pretty comfortable with my profits. I don't really like, there's no need for me to teach. But I think teaching is kind of what kept me in line with trading, because if I'm teaching somebody, I'm always consistent in looking at the market and getting new ideas. So it's not the fact that I like need to teach, but it's just the fact that I think it does help and it's beneficial for not just for whoever I'm teaching, but it's also beneficial for me because it forces me to look at the market from a different aspect, especially during the mentoring sessions, because the mentoring sessions, we kind of get like some curveball questions. We get some weird questions from people sometimes, and it helps me identify things that I wasn't really necessarily looking at. So, and also I like teaching. I like teaching and I like seeing people thrive. Like seeing someone do really well at trading and understanding that, okay, this person did really well because they learned that from me. Like I think William is like a good example. I think you're here right now too, William, right? Yeah, William's been killing it with the liquidity pushes. Those have been on fire for him and Jamie. So that's been good. Anyways, there's no entries here yet, guys. 7-11 right now. We still have a lot of time till 8. We currently have a buy signal right here, but we need price to push above and continue climbing from here. The thing with the signals is that I can only call them on the higher time frames. Like it's impossible for me to call like a market flow entry right on a signal. I know Steven would love that for someone to call a signal on a 1-minute chart, but it's like literally impossible. Because by the time it comes up, it pretty much is over with. So for the signals that I do call or probably will call, in the past, I've always called my signals on a 4-hour time frame, and I'll probably be doing the same um, moving forward. All right, there's still no entry here right now. Price is climbing back up, so we may get a possible market flow entry here to the upside. The only problem here is that we're getting close to the session, so I don't think we'll be able to take any entries from here. Yeah, it's going to be a red flag. All right, so this is a possible market flow entry right here, but I'm not going to be able to take it because it's so close to the sessions right there. My entry would have to reach the sessions, it looks like. So I'm not going to take this specific entry here. If you guys want to take it, feel free. It's market flow. I'll just wait for the next one. Yeah, Drew said the MPS has been hitting perfect fall strat. Yeah, pretty much all of the directional strategies are perfect for the fall season. So like MPS is hitting market flows. Market flow is pretty much an MPS. It's just at a different entry point. Momentum scalps, pivot scalps, high-low scalps, triple confluence. Like those strategies work really well during a volatile market, a volatile and directional market. So I'll be looking forward to taking those once the market picks up. So the market flow here is currently running, guys. It looks like that first target just got hit for 30 points. So that first target right there is hit its full TP. I didn't take this trade because it's so close to the sessions. There's the second target for the 60. The only problem with the 60 here is that it's going to have to push past the sessions right there, that purple line. So if you guys took it for a 30 point, it already hit its full TP right there. The ATR is currently at 30, so you can use a 30 TP, 30 stop loss right now. 30-60 works well, or a 60-30. I hate how TP stop loss is backwards because it's kind of hard to say when you're looking at the ATR. So the ATR right here is currently 30. Our stop loss would be 30. Double that would be 60. So if you guys are taking the trade right here, it is pushing up higher. I'll look for another opportunity here. I'm not going to count this as like my entry for this specific move. I'm going to look for it to push up a little bit higher, retrace, and climb up from here. If anything, we might get another sell signal. So we might get a sell signal to confirm the retracement, and then it might even come back up further like that. So there's a lot of different scenarios here that can play through. Yeah, Steven said when I don't enter the entry, it also always hits TP. I know, right, Steven? Let me know when you don't enter an entry, so we can take that one. Yeah, let us know when you're not taking it, Steven, and then when you don't take it, we're gonna all take it. Everybody's gonna take it, so we know for sure. You're like you're our little good luck charm here, Steven. All right, so it's still pushing up to the 60 point. So like I said earlier, if you guys want to do the 60, you guys can. The only problem is that it's going to have to get past the sessions right here. So the actual full move is still the 60 right there, but you might get some manipulation once price reaches its purple line. All right. Yeah, so I think starting this week, I will I think every Sunday I'll get on a live session, and I'm just gonna mark up all the zones here for pretty much every asset right here on my list. So I'll go down the entire list from like odd CAD, odd CHF, odd JPY. I'll just mark up the zones. I'll start to get let's get my feet wet with like trading forex again, and then we'll just see where that takes us. Let's see, EU. Is there any entries here yet? There's no entries here yet. Price is still climbing up, reaching to that 60 point. Here's a clean chart. So looking at the clean chart over here, I'll just run the levels real quick. That's not really necessary. We got price pretty much climbing right back up here. So here again is what I was just talking about, the zone to zone, right? So price broke and closed above the zone right here. Target would have been right there for 26. So there we go, as price climbs back up higher. So it looks like price is now starting to correct. Let me check the sessions real quick. So the sessions here is now filled, guys. If anybody decided to take the sessions right here that I mentioned earlier this morning. So the sessions is now filled. It's pushing up. Like I said, look for that correction back to the upside. First target's going to be 100 points right here if you're going to take that. And the next target's going to be up here a little bit higher. So a lot of the entries here that I marked up earlier, they're all starting to fill. So this one over here filled for the sessions move. This over here from the zone to zone. So this price broke above the zone and pushed up to the next zone. If price breaks and closes above this zone right here, you can look for the same thing. Price to push up to this next zone right here. All right. So price is currently at the Asia low. So if you took the market flow entry over here for a 30-60, it just pushed up to its full TP of 60 points. This trade's not going to count because I didn't take it. The only trades that count are the ones that I actually take. So not taking that one, but you guys can see right there, just hit its full TP, played out perfect. I would have taken this trade if there wasn't the sessions right here, but because there was the sessions, that's the main reason why I didn't take it. I mean, it would have been a nice play though. This would have recouped the loss and then brought it back into profit. But it's all good. I'll wait for the next one here. All right. So again, we are just gonna wait here. All right. The volatility here is actually really, really low. So if you look at the ATR now, back in 24, at this point, I'm like, man, I might have to go back to like a 15-15 if it gets any lower. So it looks like the market isn't as directional as we thought it would have been. It was directional right here initially on open, but I mean, realistically, it's just in a big range. So it's not really, let me go on to mark this up real quick. So realistically, price is just within this huge range right here. Initially, it looked like there was direction and price was going to keep dropping. But realistically, price is just in this range. If you go on a higher time frame, you can see here on the 10-minute, it's not really moving directional. It was just moving directional on the 1-minute. So really, it's just within this big range right here, which is a bit anticlimactic. So I was kind of hoping we'd start to have some directional move. Yesterday was a really good day. So yesterday was actually a pretty good directional move. We caught some pretty nice moves yesterday. Today was decent. So we took the initial entry for the breakouts. We're up 100 points there. And then obviously the smaller trade over here where we lost 30 points. Again, there's another one here where it played out, but it was right at the session. So not exactly where you want to be trading. Let me mark up opening price. I'm gonna try to get on earlier. So I typically get on around like 6:20. I'm gonna try to get on like around 6:10, guys, because I keep forgetting to mark up a lot of these things that need to be marked up. So like opening price right here, that's one thing. So this causes another issue because now we have another red flag right here, right? Currently have a pending sell signal right here. This is perfect. This is what we need. So I want that sell signal to close, and then I want a buy signal to come up and climb up higher from there. So that would provide me an entry for market flow to the upside. But if you look down at the ATR, the ATR is so low right now. At this point, it's like, okay, should I go back to the 15-15 or should I stick to where I'm at right now? I mean, if anything, maybe, okay, I'm going to see how much do I need for a 2020. I might have to preset something for 2020 as well. Yeah, I guess we could do that. I'm just going to preset if possible. I mean, if it's ever necessary. Let me check again real quick. So currently for the 30-30, we have it set to 440, set to 3. Okay, I'm just gonna preset this over here. 2020. All right. So I just have it preset. I'm not going to take it though, but I just wanted to preset it. So in a situation where I take a 2040, or no, yeah, 2040. So if I ever take a position where my TP stop loss is 2040, yeah, basically I'll have the opportunity to make 1,200. My stop is only at a partial of 600. So I have my ATM preset to 20 stop loss, 30 stop loss, 40 stop loss, and 50 stop loss. Those are going to be the two main things. Preset this one too. Let's preset at 50. I'm just doing all my presets right now. There's nothing going on in the market, so there's no need for us to really take anything. So I'm just dealing with all my presets right now. 50 stop loss. Ideally, I'm not really expecting to use a 50 stop loss. The only time we use a 50 stop loss if like the market is extremely volatile, which I doubt will ever happen unless we get closer to like deep fall season or deep spring season. All right, the ATR is currently at 21 right now, so I'll leave it at 20. The volatility is just way too low right now. All right. All right, guys, the volatility here is pretty low. ATR is currently at 21. I mean, there's just nothing going on here. Sessions entry is still running. This is probably gonna take a while for it to move around. So I was hoping it'd push up to this point here so that we could maybe look at this as a zone to zone entry, but hasn't happened. So price actually broke below the zone right here again. So the target would probably be right here at 25. I mean, I wouldn't take this as an entry though. So for these zone to zone strategies, I don't take the double dip. So if I'm ever to take an entry like this, it's either going to be a win or a loss within the zone. And then I wait for it to push into the next zone up here, or if it pushes below back down to this zone down here. But I never double dip into the same zone. Because this strategy is meant for directional moves. It's not meant for ranging movement. There's an earthquake. Sorry guys, there's an earthquake going on right here in California. I just feel like my office is shaking pretty hard. Fuck. Ah, fuck. right, 1 second, guys. Sorry, there's an earthquake going on. You guys feel that? Wow, this shit's shaking pretty hard. Okay, we're good. Um, you felt that, Drew? All right, earthquake is over. That's actually not that bad. There's been some earthquakes where like it's pretty crazy. It's like you really, really feel it. Dang, if you guys felt it down there, some of you guys here, so some of you guys are in like LA, so I'm not sure where the earthquake was, but yeah, let me see. I knew it was fucking weird. The thing is, like, because I'm in a high rise, so I really feel the earthquake. Like I'm on the top floor, so when it shakes, like you really feel it up here at the top. Let me see earthquake, California. I'll just search earthquake. Okay, so it's closer to LA. It was in Thousand Oaks, so you probably felt it way more over there, Drew. You were at Drew said he was taking a shit. Um, yeah, so the earthquake happened pretty far from where I'm at. Well, not far, but far enough. So yeah, the earthquake happened right here in Thousand Oaks. I'm like farther south near the beach, uh, in Irvine. So 5.1, not anything too crazy, but earthquake nonetheless. Yeah, you're supposed to stop, drop, and roll, right? Um, yeah, exactly. Kevin said you never know when it's going to escalate. Yeah, because there was a time like I think last year or the year before that where the earthquakes were they were consistent. Like you'd have one smaller earthquake and then a few seconds later a bigger earthquake, and they would just keep coming back to back to back. Um, that was scary. I was like in a regular house, not even a high rise. If I was in a high rise, I probably would have been tripping out. But yeah, my house was like I think that was when I first started this group, this K2 group. It was like around COVID time. The earthquakes were just coming like back to back and they were like way stronger. Yeah, Oscar said, bro, this is long. Yeah, this one lasted kind of long. It did last pretty long on that one. Okay, let me get to the questions real quick. So Madhu's asking, um, what time frame do you mark those zones? So for this one right here on the for YM, I go from the 10 minute, and then if I need more zones, I'll go down to the 5. So I'll typically start at the 10 and I'll mark up the zones from here. And then if I need more zones or so here, I'll just mark up the zones for you, like brand new zones. So typically I'll start at the 10 minute, right? And there's no entries right now, guys, so don't worry. You guys are not missing out on anything here so far. But looking at the zones here, so I'll basically start at the 10 minute. And there's no specific, like it just depends on like what's available on these specific time frames. So on the 10 minute, I'll mark all of these up. Because if you're doing the 10 minute to the 1 minute, it's basically going from like if you're like uh in translation, it's like doing like the daily to like the 4 hour. So I'll do like the 10 minute over here. And then you can see over here, like for example, there's like not very many zones up top. So if I need to get some more zones up top, I'll go up to like the 30, 15 minute or the 30 minute. There's no zones up there. You just kind of want to fill your chart. You want to fill your chart with like with useful zones, right? So I just do this to fill in like whatever's not up here. And then I'll go back down to the 1 minute. And then if you want to draw like more precise zones, I mean, you can always do that. But for the most part, I think this is, you can even go down to the 5 minute. I kind of just play around with it. You're never going to get perfect zones, so it's just going to be up to your preference, how perfect you want it to be. Um, and you also don't want it to be too like you don't want to have too many zones. So like basically, if you're going to enter off the 1 minute, I would start with a 10, and then I would just go between I would go into double double time frame. So I go from like the 10, and then once I mark that up, I'll go down to like the 5 if I need some more. If I go down to the 5 right here, you can see how these well, this doesn't overlap. This one's like by itself. And then once I have those marked up, I'll just go back to the 1 minute and I'll take it off. And then you can see the zones here kind of line up. Let me go back here. So the 1 minute, there's no zones here. I just want to make sure there's nothing in this area. Yeah, there's not. So this, like I said earlier, I wouldn't double dip back into this zone. The zone here already came up. So the first entry was like right here, or the first break out of that zone. And then this is basically where the TP stop loss would be. It's just basic zone to zone strategy. So I wouldn't reuse this zone, but if price was to break below here, then I would reuse this zone. So you can't I wouldn't reuse it right after, but if it comes back to that area like at a later time, then I would reuse this zone down here. I think ideally this is probably the best way to trade zone to zone. I think zone to zone is probably the best way to trade. My way of trading is good too, but it's not for everybody, right? Like this type of scalping is not for everybody. I think zone to zone is something that anybody can use. Like for example, okay, if this candle here breaks and closes below this point, then you can possibly expect it to push down to this lower level right here. The thing that you want to be careful though is that this candle is so huge that you might not want to enter on this specific one. You might want to wait for a confirmation. Mal's asking, is it common to have an earthquake? Yeah, here in California, there is it's pretty common to have earthquakes. Certain areas, no, but here in California, Southern California specifically, yes, there's a lot of earthquakes here because of just like where we're located. So yeah, there's a lot of earthquakes here. Thankfully, we don't have hurricanes. So I know like people who live on like in Miami, or not Miami, but like Florida and like the Midwest and like those areas, they get like hurricanes or they get other stuff. For me personally, I think earthquakes, I would rather have an earthquake than have to deal with a hurricane or a typhoon or stuff like that. Because the structure here is typically pretty good in California. Like, everything here that's why I like living in new places because it's pretty much been built to withstand earthquakes. So yeah, here in California, if you lived in California, or if you've been here in California, you're pretty much used to it at this point. Earthquakes just come randomly. You can't really anticipate it. There's no warning for it. Sometimes they're worse than others. Sometimes they're just small. Like this one was pretty small today. And it happened like about, I think 50 miles from where I'm located. So not as bad. Yeah, CJ said Kodi Kai were quiet. They must have been used to it. They actually came running over here. They came running to my office and then they looked at me like they're confused what was going on. And then they just they went back to their nap. That's the life of Kodi Kai. They're unbothered for the most part. Yeah, CJ said tornadoes are the worst. You don't have time to evacuate like a hurricane, and they can pop up out of nowhere. Yeah, have you guys seen that movie Twisters? That movie Twisters is pretty crazy, and that happens like all the time. It is pretty crazy, and it pretty much just like if you get caught in a tornado, you'll get like pulled into the sky, pretty much gone like that. It's crazy. So looking at the current price movement, guys, it's 7:38 right now. We're getting closer and closer to 8 o'clock. The ETR is back to like around 30 right now. So again, I just make my small adjustments here. or contracts 3060. But there's no entries here right now. And the ATR has dropped right back down to 27. So I'm not really expecting too much to happen here, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Again, if you guys are just joining or if you guys didn't see the profits or the trades for the day, we took 2 trades for the day. We took this first trade over here, which was the 100-point breakout. This was for a full TP for 100 points. So we took that trade there, locked in my profits for that for 1,371. And then I took a small loss over here for 30 points. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to calculate my profits. Like in general, or because the problem with this here is that these entries are the points are like way different, right? So the breakout will be like 100 points. The market flow is also going to be a little tricky because sometimes it's going to be a 30-point stop loss, sometimes it's going to be a 40, sometimes it's going to be a 30, sometimes it's going to be a 20. It's going to be very, very different. So I'll have to figure out a way to calculate that stuff. I also have to do it. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that I have to do. I still have to go and update the spreadsheet. Ever since I went on my vacation, I just haven't been sending emails or updating the spreadsheet. So I got to do that, and I also got to add up our results for August up until September. So I'll have everything updated hopefully by the end of this week. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. There's just nothing going on here, so I'm not really expecting anything to happen from here until 8 o'clock. We got 20 minutes till 8. So yeah, I'll just answer whatever questions are here. If there's no questions and there's no movement, then I'll probably just wrap this up a little early today. And then I'll be back later today for the actual group mentoring session. So just a reminder, if you guys did not hear earlier, we're having the group mentoring session today at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So right now it's currently about to be 8 o'clock. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. In about 6 hours, I'll be back here for the group mentoring session. For that group mentoring session, it's pretty much open to everyone. You don't have to be a premium member. Obviously, premium members will have priority with questions, but it's pretty much open to everybody. And if you guys have any questions regarding anything, really, if you have a question regarding the breakout strategy, you have a question regarding the market flow entries, you have a question regarding marking up a clean chart. Like if you guys are wondering, how did I mark up these zones here? Like how did I know that this is support and how did I know that this is resistance? I can explain that to you. You guys have a question regarding the zones here, right? Like Madhu's question earlier asking how do I drop the zones? That's where you guys can ask me those questions. So yeah, that session's pretty much open to everybody. So if you guys want me to explain anything, whether it's forex, whether it's futures, whether it's anything really, I'm here to help you guys out. So I'm gonna mark up the zones over here for Euro USD real quick. So for forex, it's a little different because I trade on the 4-hour time frame. So I start on the weekly time frame to mark up the zones. Start on the weekly. It's kind of curious because EU is like one of my favorite assets to trade. So I'm curious to see if there's any entries coming up soon. See, the only problem with trading forex is that the leverage is extremely low. So like for me to trade this back then, I had to put a lot of money into my personal account to trade this. And that's why I didn't really like it. I did like it, but the pros and cons were just, you had to park a lot of money into these accounts to trade them. Unless you guys want to trade on a forex broker, you guys can do that as well, like an unregulated one. Which is probably what, no, I'll probably trade with I think there's more options now. Before it was just forex.com, but now I think there are more options for us to use. I don't even know where this thing's at. And sometimes if it's too like, so if they overlap too much like on the weekly, because it's such a far off time frame, you can always just go to the lower one. It's always just plug and play. Like I don't even know where this one's at. All right, back down to the 4 hour. So in a situation like this, I would probably just take these off. And then I would mark up these individual ones. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I should start marking up the zones on the 4 hour and then go higher from there. Because these end up overlapping like way too much. Like this one over here is kind of pointless. Let me take that one off. There we go. So looking at EU over here, I'm just going to look at like whatever entries possibly came up. So this one over here is one of them. I think this was the most recent one that came up. Yeah, so the most recent one that came up was this one right here, or this one actually. The entry would have happened on the close of this candle at 6 a.m. This one came down right here for about 30-point move. And then the other one that came up was actually right here too. Price broke and closed below it. This was about a 37-point move. So you guys can see like these entries don't come up very often, but if you have like 40 assets to trade, like I have 40 different forex pairs here that I trade. These are all calculated from like whatever had the tightest spread. And there's two entries here that came up. So there's one that came up on August 28th for EU. And then another one over here that came up on September 6th. So you can see there's a big gap between when these entries came up, like about a week times apart. But if you're trading 40 assets, you'll have like at least a couple of entries come up every couple of days or every couple of weeks. And then if you take like a 5 to 10% risk per trade, I mean, you can make pretty good profit on these forex trades, especially on the higher time frames. The thing with YM here is you can't trade this on the higher time frame. They close you out every day once it gets close to market close. So you can't really take 4 hour trades on YM unless you're trading US 30, which is the indice. So those are just examples of like what I'm looking for here. Again, I'm looking for another opportunity. So I'll look for price to break below this point. And then when it does break below this point, look for it to come back up. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. I don't really see any more entries here. There's a possible market flow that could be setting up right here. The only problem is that it's right at the opening price. So this is going to be a red flag area. So there's no entries for us to take at this point. Otherwise, I think, yeah, other than that, there's not much here to work with. So price never came below this point. If you guys want to take a zone to zone move here on YM, and I'll keep following through with this, obviously as we continue to trade YM, this might be the, so I might use this as the secondary entry. So I'll probably do market flows, and then I'll also use this as a secondary entry. Because the thing with this strategy is that it's good that in the sense that it works in a way that you can kind of take this in a ranging market, and you can also take it in a directional market. So like, for example, there's an entry that came up right here at 641 or 642. This could have been taken right there. It could have even been taken as a late entry because it didn't happen right away. Like it retraced up a little bit. So like we would have had some time in between for us to just wait for it to retrace up and then put the pending order there. So when it came back down, it would have filled right here and came right back to its full TP. That's the good thing about the strategy too. You don't have to enter right away. If you don't want to enter right away, you can wait like maybe you can wait a little while. Like for example, this entry over here came up. And say for example, you missed it, but it didn't hit full TP yet. You could have entered it late and then you could have still wrote it to its TP. Same with this one right here. This entry came up. If you didn't enter exactly at that exact time, it would have retraced up and came back down to fill your order. So that's kind of what I like about this strategy. Is that you can kind of just let it breathe. And then at some point, you can take it later. Like for example, this one over here didn't play through. And then this one over here, if you entered it late, or actually, I don't think this one played through, but this one might have hit stop. Yeah, this one over here actually hit the stop, which is fine. It happens. So like I said, there's a one win right here. So there's one win at 642, one loss over here. The only thing with this is that you'd have to calculate your TP stop loss like pretty quickly. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little difficult. So entry right there, this would have hit TP, this would have hit stop loss, price would have came back up right here, this would have hit TP. So if you just took zone to zone strategies for today, you would have had one win, one loss, one win. And you just kind of calculate the TP stop loss or your risk to be about the same so that you basically be net profit at the end of the day. Let's see, WSF is asking, hi, what state or time zone are you? My time zone is Pacific time. So California, USA, Los Angeles, we're in Pacific time, negative -7 time zone or Pacific time, whichever you want to use. I think Pacific times probably work better for you identifying what my exact time zone is. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up for the day. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back here in about 6 hours at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Again, that's 2 p.m. Pacific time for the group mentoring session. So if you guys want to sit in on that, it's open to everybody. You guys can answer you can ask whatever questions you want. And I'll be there to answer questions it usually runs for about 2 or 3 hours. So I'll be on there for about 2 or 3 hours answering questions. And I'll show you guys pretty much all of the forex stuff too. I think during that session, if you don't get a lot of questions, I'll just go down the entire list and I'll mark up structure here so that we can possibly look at this for some forex entries for the next day. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here at 2 o'clock.